Hey, good evening, everybody. Val Mikesell here with the Mikesell Group. I'm glad that you all came tonight. We're going to give you some really good information about what's going on with the WellCare Trust. Typically, these sessions take about 20 to 25 minutes. At the end, I'll open it up for a couple questions, but be respectful of all of our time here. So I want to go ahead and just get started. And first of all, let's do this. So what is it? What is the WellCare Trust? Well, back in 2019, the state enacted a long-term care insurance benefit for all eligible Washingtonians funded by workers' contributions into a trust fund. And this is directly off the website from the state of Washington. They also go on to say here, the LTSS Trust, and that's the key there, this is not really a long-term care policy, but rather it is a trust account which the money is funneled into. And at the worker, it's for you, the worker, against the economic and social risk of needing long-term care as you age. And so maybe a lot of you folks haven't given much thought about what does that mean, getting older and then being faced with declining health, and how would you deal with that? And that's what the state of Washington is addressing here. And so, because of that, starting on January of 2022, all W-2 employees will be paying 58 cents per $100 of earnings. And this is both full-time and part-time. Federal workers are exempt from this. Labor unions, because of their collective bargaining agreements, they're not in it yet. But I think what you're going to find out here as I go on, I don't think you're going to be exempt, even though the clock maybe been delayed a little bit for you. So here, let me give you an example of what this means. So if you're an employee and you're earning $70,000 a year, starting in January, like I said, you're going to start paying a tax. And in this case here, I figured it out to be about $406 annually, or about $34 a month. And that's regardless of your age. You could be 18, you could be 75, and it's going to be the same $34. Now, this question comes up: do self-employed have to participate? Now, I know some of you folks here, they're business owners, you're looking at this. If you're not a W-2 employee, you don't have to participate. Now, the state says that if you want, you can opt in to the state plan. That's your choice. But I think once I'm done and I'm going to show you what are some of the options, some things you can do, you're probably not going to want to opt into the state plan. But I'm also going to say to you that you probably want to have a plan set up already in case you need to opt out. All right, so what will you get under this employee benefit plan with the state of Washington? Well, once you're qualified, and we'll get into that, what that qualified means, but you will receive a total lifetime benefit of $36,500. That's the total. And then it will be adjusted for the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, at a maximum of $100 a day over a 2-year period of time. And all the dollars that are coming out are considered non-taxable. So this would be what we would call in financial circles a qualified plan. All right. This question has come up. Will that 58 cents per $100 stay the same? We really don't know, but there are some very strong indicators that kind of tell you, if you're going to read into this, what might be happening in the future. This is directly out of the RCW 50B, so this is where the code is coming from. And on there, down at the bottom, on line 7, it says this. I blew it up for you. If the premiums established in this section are increased, there you go. Now, they're not saying it's increasing, they're saying if it increased. And so they've left the door open for the future if they needed to go back and or to raise the rates to cover the liability. Now, at the same time, they say in here that they have to notify you in a proper way, like they have to, mail you and let you know. But also says in here that they need to try to find ways to bring that rate back down. Okay, so you can figure that out and see what that really means. All right, so now I also have this resource page from a law firm who does employee benefits. They're specialists in this area. And I didn't want to go get the entire article, but this is the part that caught my attention. It says here that the payroll tax, and remember, these folks, this is what they do. The payroll tax is deposited in a trust which currently is invested in the treasuries, and they're saying that if the treasuries are not going to give the necessary 5% rate of return to support the benefits. Matter of fact, they went on to say here that they really believe that the tax really needed to be 66 cents, not 58 cents. And because of that, they really believe that what's going to wind up happening, they're going to be having a funding deficit of $15 billion. All right, so you take those two frames, those two slides that I just did there, and I'll kind of give you an indication of where they think it's going to go. All right. So why is the state doing this? Well, here's the facts. And again, I took these straight off of the state of Washington site. The median cost for home-based care is roughly around $50,000 annually. Now, what this is that if you're able to stay in the home, but you still need to have long-term care come into the home, then to do that, you're going to spend right around $50,000. That's what it's going to cost. All right, that's what it costs you. Now, if you happen to go into a skilled facility, then you're talking about median costs of around $100,000 annually. I know that in King County, it's right around 125, 145,000. And I also just happened to pull up, I was looking at a couple facts here. The highest cost in the state, most expensive, was $169,000 a year. And the lowest cost was $56,575. And that was over in Colville on the tribal lands. So if you could get into a skilled facility over there, I guess you can get it on the cheap. All right. I don't know what kind of care you're going to get either. All right. So what the state is saying here is that the main driver for providing for long-term care benefits is coming from the state Medicaid system. And they're saying that that plan is, they're using that to support the long-term care benefits that are being paid out. And they're saying that it's unsustainable. With the growth of people that are coming into the system, it says here that within the next 2 decades, they project that Medicaid expenses for long-term care are going to double. So that 50,000 becomes 100,000. The 100,000 becomes 200,000. And then, like I said, in King County, you could probably expect somewhere around 250 to 300,000. And that other place, that I don't know where it was at, 100, so that'd be $340,000. It can get quite expensive, folks. Okay. Now, what they're also saying, this is from the Department of Health and Human Services, they're saying that 7 out of 10 of you will need some form of long-term care. Now, if you're married or in a partnership, what this is saying to you that there is a very, very good chance that you're going to be in some type of long-term care, whether it be someone coming to your home or being in a facility somewhere. And so, again, like I was saying, that the main driver for the state of Washington, and I'm not going to get into a lot of details about this, but right now, if you didn't have any money, then the state would say, well, you can come into the Medicaid system, and that's available to you. But here's what's happening to do that. If you come into the Medicaid system, they have a thing called Medicaid spend down. Now, what does that mean? It means is that the state is going to limit your savings to $2,000. So if you have, let's say, $100,000, $200,000, they'll make you spend all that money first before you can get the first dollar for the state to pay for your long-term care. They're also going to restrict your income. So they're going to restrict that income to $2,000 to $3,023 on the high side. And that money has to be going, and the income that you have is going to have to go towards paying for your long-term care. So this is what the state is saying will happen to you if you come into Medicaid. So what they're ultimately saying here is that we don't have enough money. We're going to make you broke. We're going to make you poor if you do come into Medicaid, and we're still not going to have enough money. And so we're going to have to take the money from somewhere to pay for these future benefits. And what they've done, this is that they picked you with that tax. That's what's happening here. All right, so now here are some of the other problems that are associated with this, because again, for people to come into the Medicaid system, I was telling you that they have to be poor and they're going to make you broke. And here is what's really happening today. The median income for seniors is $56,000 a year. That's it. That's in the state of Washington. So if you're in that situation where someone can come into the home and take care of you, $50,000 of that $56,000 is going to go pay for your long-term care. And here's the other problem. 50% of all seniors have no pensions or 401ks. Now, I think you're beginning to understand what the state sees as a problem. I see it as a problem, and now you see what the problem is. And that is people who are going to get sick. Remember, 7 out of 10 of them, half of those people don't have any money. And so, and not only that, but when you take a look at the overall average of everybody, the average savings in 401ks is around $70,000. So the state knows this is happening, and they know that there's not going to be enough money to be able to pay the benefits for long-term care again, so they have the tax. Now, I'm not saying I agree with the tax. I'm just saying that's what the tax is for. So what will you get under the state plan? Again, you're going to get that what? That $36,500, and it's going to pay over, it'll pay up to $100 a day over 2 years, and it's considered non-taxable. Now, I brought this slide up again because remember, we're looking down in the future, like even today, if this were to happen, you're looking at a minimum of $50,000 if it's in home, or $100,000 if it's in a nursing skill facility, and even more than that in some other ones. Now you have to let that sink in. So what the state is really saying here, we're not going to really solve your problem. This may be saving the state's problem. It is. It's solving it. It's helped solving their liquidity, but it doesn't really help you. Now, how do you qualify to get that $36,500? And by the way, that again, it's adjusted for CPI. Well, according to the rules in the state, to qualify for benefits from the trust, you must have worked and contributed into the trust for a period of at least 10 years at any point in your lifetime without a break of 5 or more years within those 10 years. That's number one. And then number two, or 3 of the last 6 years with at least 500 hours per year during those years. You have to meet either one of those rules. So this could be a problem for some of you folks. Let's say that in your 60s, you're looking at retirement. You could be paying into this system here, and then you retire. And then if you get sick, you won't be eligible for the benefits. And that could be a real issue for some of you folks. All right, so here's the question here. Some of you folks are thinking, I'm going to retire, going to leave the state. I'm going to go to Oregon, California, Mexico, Arizona, Florida, wherever you're going to go. You're going to leave the state of Washington. So what happens if you leave Washington state? What happens to the plan? Well, the state says this: to be eligible for the long-term care benefits, you must live in the state. You have to live here, which raises another question. Well, since we're not here in the state, am I going to get my money back? Well, the answer is no. It's a tax. We're going to keep the money. So you could be paying, some of you folks are young enough here where you could be paying into this maybe 3 to 4 decades, 30 and 40 years, and you leave the state, you'll never benefit from it. The money will just stay here within the state. All right. So here is one of the reasons, probably the reason why you folks are here, right? Can you opt out of the Washington state plan? The answer is yes, but let me explain here a little bit, all right? If you're going to opt out of the plan, you have to secure a private long-term care plan that meets the state requirement of a qualified plan. So what are those requirements? It has to be $36,500 of minimum benefit, it has to be for at least 2 years, and that's it. And it has to be qualified, meaning it has to fit under what they call section code 7702B with the IRS. So if you have a plan, you can opt out of the state tax system and be out of it forever. But here's the problem. The deadline to get this done is November the 1st, 2021. I mean, it's literally right around the corner. If you do not have a privately secured long-term care plan before then, you will be in the system. There will be no forgiveness. And starting on January of 2022, you'll be paying that tax. That's what's going to happen. So I tell everybody when they ask me, well, when should I start this? The answer is you should have started it yesterday, because that's how long of a process for a lot of you it's going to take to get a plan. So the closer we get to that date, the more at risk you will be at of being able to find something that can replace the state tax system and let you opt out of the plan. All right. So this was a gentleman I just recently happened. I helped him last week, young engineer, and based on his age, he was 42 years old. Under the WellCare plan, he's going to wind up paying about $39 a month. He's making about $80,000 a year. All right. So I went to work for him, and I found out, okay, he's a healthy 42-year-old male, and I was able to secure $100,000 of lifetime long-term care benefits for $42 a month. All right, so that's about $3 more than the state plan, and it's a 273% increase in benefits for the dollars that are being spent over that of the state. All right. Now, is this going to be the same for everyone? No. Younger people will pay less if you're healthy. Women are going to pay more, a little bit more. Okay. If you get older, you'll pay more. If you're unhealthy, you may not be able to do this, and you may have to stay in the state plan. The point is that do you want to be in the state plan? Do you want to pay a tax? And do you want to pay for the years and years and years, and then wind up not being able to use it if you leave the state and then also lose the money? That's really part of the issue here. All right. Everything here is considered on an individual basis. Now, here is a big thing, and that is the state of Washington's $36,500. What if you died? What if you passed away? Well, the state says they're going to keep the money. They're not going to pay anything to your spouse or to your partner. It was there for long-term care. But a private plan, like in this case with this young man here, if he passed away tomorrow, his wife is still going to get $100,000. So that is a huge difference as compared to the state plan. So one of the biggest issues here is that, again, if you're leaving the state of Washington, it's flexible. You can take it wherever you want to go if you decide to leave the state of Washington. Again, you can't do this with the Washington State WellCare plan. All right, so now let's break this down. Let's just do a side-by-side comparison. On the left-hand side, we got the WellCare's trust, and on the right side, we got the private plans. Under the WellCare, it's mandated, and it goes into a trust plan, and it has a benefit of $36,000 over 2 years, and it is adjusted for the CPI. Okay, CPI, by the way, I believe that the numbers that they're using currently is something like around 1.6% a year. That's how that benefit will increase. A private plan, if you can get in a group plan, and that's getting harder to do, by the way, more than ever, you might be able to get $36,500 over 2 years, but also you have the option, and this is where maybe some real planning comes into play, because now it's in front of you. Now you have to really be thinking about it, that, well, maybe, yeah, that really is a problem for me. I'd never really give it much thought, and now I'm looking down the road. I don't want to be using my retirement assets to pay for me when I'm sick and then leave my wife broke, or leave my husband broke, or leave my partner broke. All right, so you could elect to have larger benefits and also longer payout periods. That's an option. In the state, it's a tax, period. 58 cents per $100 income. And will it change or not? Again, we've already been through that. With a private plan, it's not a tax. Plain and simple. It is a private plan and is basically, I like to say, it's the golden ticket to get out of the tax mandate. So if you guys want a golden ticket, I'm giving you the method of which to do this. To qualify, again, those complex rules about the 10 years and the 3 years, right? Or 3 of the 5, I'm sorry, 3 of the 6 years. With a private plan, it's simple. If you had a plan today, it's in force, and then next year, you all of a sudden you got sick and you're looking at trying to get the benefits out, all you have to do is just get through the waiting period, and the minimum waiting period in the state of Washington is 90 days. That's what we have to do to be compliant. So in the WACare, you have what's called activities of daily living. These are the things that have to happen to you before you can trigger the benefits to come out to you. In a private plan, it's 6 activities of daily living to trigger the benefits to come out to you. So what are these triggers? What are these activities? Well, on the WACare, it's medication management, personal hygiene, eating, cognitive functioning, transfer assistance, body care, bathing, ambulation, dressing, and toileting. If you can't do 3 of the 10 on that list there, then that triggers the benefits for the $36,500 plus whatever inflation adjustment was on there. Under a private plan, it's bathing, eating, transfer assistance, toileting, continence, and dressing. If you can't do 2 of the 6 on this list, it triggers the benefit out to you. What else? Well, both the tax cost, and I even make the argument I've read in there that even the benefit amount could change in the future. But it's clear that the tax could change. Under a private plan, the benefit amount can be guaranteed. You don't have to worry about it. It's going to be what it is. And in some plans, the premiums can also be guaranteed and not change. So that's a good thing if you're looking at making sure that nothing happens with your premium, all right? If you leave the state, you will not receive any benefits, plain and simple. That's what the state. With a private plan, it's portable. It will go wherever you go. Under the WACare plan, if you leave the state, the tax you paid will not be returned back to you. Under a private plan, some of the plans offer options to return back a portion of your premium to your survivors, or even all of it in some cases, or even unto yourself. Now, companies and plans do vary. So this is where we do, a quick analysis, see who you are, what you are, and see what might be the best fit. All right. And the state plan. Remember that chart where we saw 7 out of 10 people are going to wind up having to have some kind of long-term care? Well, again, in the state plan, it's only covering you. But what if it's the other person? What if it's your spouse? What if it's your partner? How would that impact you? Well, again, we make the argument that if you're going to look at this from a planning standpoint, you probably want both people covered. And you do have the option of doing that under a private plan. Also, for some of you folks, if you have an HSA, a health savings account, it can be paid right out of that account there. That's a nice little tax benefit because that HSAs are tax qualified, so you didn't pay any taxes on those contributions. So if that exists inside your company, you could do that. So I've already covered, some of you folks have already seen the WACare Trust Resource Center that we created. And so you can go and actually pull up the law, go pull up some of the articles on it, and you can read it for yourself. And this is available to you. So now that you know this, now that you know that this mandate is coming down, what do? How do you get out of this? What is your golden ticket? How do you get out of this tax? Well, first of all, you understand your time is not your friend. You're running out of it. And again, I say to people, it should have been last month that we would have started this process. That's how serious this is. And so if you have an agent, go ahead and talk to that agent. The resources here, this is here to help you understand where you're at. And that there is help. There are ways that you can get through this and get out of the tax plan. Now, If you don't have that relationship, or if you don't have that kind of agent that has the ability to handle all these things, you can also talk to us. And there'll be a link that'll be sent to you after the session, and that you can go ahead and click on the link, and you can set up the time to meet with myself or one of our associates. We'll be more than happy to help you here. So, having said all that, let me take a look here. Want to see if anybody here has any questions. Okay. Got a shy group here. All right, good. Well, look, if you have questions, obviously you know where to go, because I'm going to send you the link. It'll be in your email. Check your spam folders, your junk box. Just make sure that it didn't get placed in there. And then, like I said, just click on the link and go there, and we can have a 15, 30-minute session. It's up to you. And we can talk about this, but we feel very confident that for the most part, we can help most of you folks get out of here. Some of you will not be able to get out. You'll have to stay in the plant. But for those who can, we'll do everything we can to help you out. So take action when you see the link, click it on, and set up the time, and then we'll have that discussion. So you all have a good night. Thank you for coming, everyone. And again, I wish you all a good night.